Dying Light 2 has 24 combat skills and 24 parkour skills. I know because I counted them. But how do you know which skills are worth getting and which skills are worth ignoring? Well, let's go through some of the best perks to get as soon as possible in Dying Light 2. Let me know in the comments down below your favorite skills for Dying Light 2. First, let's quickly cover how to get skills quickly or get skills fast. A couple of things to note with skills is that every one of the skills only cost 1 point. So even the skills further down the line, they'll only cost you 1 skill point to actually unlock them. If you want to level up your skills quickly, doing a lot of the side content that rewards combat and parkour points is a good way to do it, as well as doing night runs, which you get double points in general for exploring at night. But also if you initiate a chase, you will gain multipliers on top of the double rank as well. So you can gain even more points quickly by initiating a chase and then zooming around in the night. Now let's get into the best combat skills, and the first is the drop kick, and this is returning from Dying Light 1. It was probably the best skill in Dying Light 1 too, honestly, and this is just a powerful kick that you can initiate while jumping that will knock enemies back. You can knock things off cliffs, you can knock enemies into spikes, you can do all sorts of things with this, and it actually deals a really decent amount of damage, surprisingly, so absolutely a skill you must get. Now, something worth noting as well is don't buy the Vault Kick upgrade, the Power Kick. Now, what this will do is basically turn your Vault Kick into a drop kick, which sounds valuable, except once you do this, your Vault Kick will no longer stagger the enemy you hit, meaning you can't chain them together. So what I mean by that is if you're using Vault Kick, when you hit the enemy that you're aiming at, that will stagger them, and then you can initiate another Vault Kick. Once you get the Vault Kick Power Kick upgrade, you can no longer do this because it basically turns it into a drop kick. And why would you need it to be a drop kick when you have drop kick already, which is just better and much simpler to initiate? But let's move on. Power Attack is the next one, and this is a decent ability. It does a fair amount of damage, it's worth getting, but it unlocks the other just melee attacks to get, one of them being Ground Pound, which is a powerful attack while in midair. You'll slam onto the ground and deal a decent amount of damage, as well as Windmill, which is a good AoE kind of cleaning up attack. When you've got a lot of infected around you, it'll stagger them all and push them and give you a little bit of space so that you're not just being surrounded completely. Now, the next is an option A or an option B, depending on your playstyle. Now, for me personally, I prefer to block or parry. So I prefer to go down the perfect parry line. So when you initiate a perfect parry, you get a slow-mo effect that will allow you to adjust what you want to do a little bit more quickly. As well as if you follow this line, you'll get the block projectiles, which is super valuable once you leave the initial area. You get into the second area, you start seeing enemies that have ranged weapons. The second option is if you prefer to dodge more often, to go down the perfect dodge route, which will allow you to dodge and grapple enemies. Now, both of these routes have their own purpose and should probably invest in once you get further into the game, but initially when you're in the early stages, you really want to pick one or the other, depending on whether you prefer to parry or whether you prefer to dodge. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite. Active landing and safe landing are skills that you should avoid. They sound valuable because you don't take damage when you hit the ground, but you can land on cars and mattresses and plenty of other things to avoid damage. And if you do take some damage, you can just heal up and away you go. But the main reason that this is pointless in getting is because once you leave the first area and you get the paraglider, just as soon as you get through that initial story moment where you get into that new area, you immediately get the paraglider. It just becomes obsolete because anytime you're falling, you can just initiate the paraglide, land safely, and then continue on your way, and it's nothing too much of a big deal. Something you should absolutely get very quickly is Firm Grip, and this makes the last climb on ledges even when you're out of stamina, so that you can maintain your grip and climb up onto that ledge. This is super helpful for windmills, especially in the early stages when you don't have a lot of stamina. You just got to hang on a ledge, wait for the windmill puzzle to kind of play out, jump to somewhere, and then you can pull yourself up and not have to worry about immediately falling off. I'd also recommend to get Sleek Runner, which increases your movement speed while navigating tricky obstacles like slope, balance boards, climbing pipes, all of that stuff, and then pick the next one in that being Slide. Slide's the real value here, so you can slide under things, you can slide around. Sliding is just a fun time to do. I would recommend picking up both of these. And then next we have Dart, and Dart is super helpful for any kind of chase, whether you're chasing someone, whether you're being chased. It gives you that burst of speed, so you can kind of pick up speed. Basically, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you can also jump further distances when you have this. So when you get into the second area of the game, there's a bit more distance between the buildings. When you can dart and then leap into the next building, it just makes that process a little bit simpler. And I would also recommend to pick up Tic Tac, which allows you to run alongside vertical walls, and Wall Run, which allows you to run up vertical surfaces, for the same reason as Dart, in that when you are in the second area of the game, it's a bit more spread out. Things are a bit higher, a bit more open. So you want to have these kind of further parkour abilities so that you can move around a bit more safely, a bit more comfortably without having to rely too much on the paraglider or being on the ground level. You still want to keep into that rooftop level as much as possible. And the last tip is to check out my tips video for Dying Light 2 that goes through many other valuable pieces of information for this game and will help you survive during the night. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.